Welcome back, mystery seekers. Today, we embark on a thrilling journey to explore the enigmatic and infamous Bermuda Triangle. For decades, this mysterious region has captured the world's imagination with tales of vanished ships and planes. But fear not as we dive deep into the truth behind these eerie stories. They looked inside lost Bermuda Triangle ship. Here's what they saw. The journey began like any other. The cargo ship SS Cotopaxi is making another trip to Havana, Cuba, to supply coal. The date was November 20, 1925. For Captain Meyer and his crew departing Charleston Port in South Carolina, marked to be their ship's final voyage, it traveled via the Bermuda Triangle. 2 days into the journey, the Cotopaxi sent out a distress signal. It was caught in a powerful tropical storm and flipped over on its side. There was a lot of wind and lightning. The breach in the ship's hull was gradually filled with rain. Then there was a dazzling white light, and the ship vanished into thin air. Later, the wreckage was discovered in the Gobi Desert, which is in an entirely different section of the Earth. All 32 members of the crew, including the captain, were gone. Of course, the Gobi Desert portion is fictitious. Steven Spielberg came up with the concept that the spacecraft was relocated there by aliens for one of his films. In reality, the ship was never located and its crew vanished. A month later, it was officially reported lost, and no one could locate the accident. It appears to be a classic instance of inexplicable things happening in the Bermuda Triangle. Yet most mysteries are eventually answered. The Cotopaxi was discovered in 2020. Michael Barnett had relocated to Florida to research shipwrecks off the coast. One accident in particular piqued his interest. It was significantly larger than the others and was dubbed the Bear Wreck by the locals. The rusting ship was roughly 40 miles from St. Augustine in northern Florida, but no one had ever identified it. As a result, Michael began his investigation. He estimated the magnitude of the shipwreck and began searching for whatever information he could discover. He combed through hundreds of old newspapers, insurance documents, and artifacts found on the wreck. Michael was certain it was the Cotopaxi after hundreds of hours of hard effort. But a few years before, there had been a rumor that the identical ship had been discovered off the coast of Cuba. The Coast Guard discovered the wreck of a cargo ship of similar dimensions to the one lost in 1925. Michael was convinced they were mistaken, so he joined forces with several science journalists and continued his investigation. They soon uncovered something that seemed to validate Michael's theory. Divers discovered metal valves with the initials SV on them among the ship's wreckage. These initials, according to Michael, stand for Scott Valve Manufacturing Company. This company, his headquarters, were in Michigan, not far from where the Cotopaxi had been erected. The company that provided components for the Cotopaxi was most likely the same one that provided parts for the Berwick. Michael Barnett had figured out the riddle and learned that the Bear Wreck was the location of the missing cargo ship. However, he still needed to figure out why the ship had sunk. He looked for clues and discovered the testimony of the ship's carpenter, who said that the hatches concealing the coal aboard the ship were in bad shape before it sunk. The crew received the order to sail to Cuba before the repair work on the coverings was completed. Water may have easily come on board if the hatch covers had still been shattered throughout the cruise. This water most likely flooded the pit during the tropical storm, which was the true cause of the Cotopaxi's destruction. Michael realized there was nothing unusual about it, and that it was simply an error done by regular people. However, this was only one of several occasions in which ships and planes went missing in the Bermuda Triangle. Some of these instances remain unexplained, implying that there is something strange going on. And here's another strange thing that happened there that no expert has been able to explain. Time travel Bruce Gernon was flying an aircraft from Andros Island to the Florida coast in 1970 when he reached an altitude of 11,500 feet. A massive cloud loomed in front of him, growing larger and larger until he had no choice but to fly through it. Bruce traveled from Mandor's Island to the Florida shore with his aircraft. A massive cloud loomed in front of him. At 11,500 feet, the jet was shrouded in darkness. As soon as he soared through the cloud, white flashes of light began to emerge around him, illuminating the entire sky. The jet flew through the weird cloud for over 30 minutes. During this time, Bruce saw that the cloud had changed shape and had begun to constrict. All of his instruments and navigation devices were malfunctioning and the electronics had failed. A white light came at the end of the tunnel, and the plane narrowly.
Signore e signori comandante,
Bruce became lost in the white fog and had no idea where he was until he made touch with ground control. He was astounded to see that his jet had already entered the airspace over Miami, something he thought was inconceivable considering the distance he had flown. Bruce landed and examined the quantity of fuel remaining in the tank, which was significantly less than the average amount. The plane flew the trip in 47 minutes, nearly twice as quickly as usual. According to records, a huge number of sunspots were identified on the sun's surface that day, and there was a strong solar wind. This may easily have caused the plane's electronics and equipment to malfunction, but what about the enigmatic cloud? The Florida coast is a meeting point for two enormous air currents, one with high pressure and the other with low pressure. This creates a lot of storm clouds in the vicinity. But many still wonder how Bruce was able to cross such a long distance so swiftly. Some believe that unknown dark energy was involved, while others believe it was a gravitational aberration that curled space and time. And yet others believe Bruce is a hoax. We still don't know the whole story. So is the Bermuda Triangle truly supernatural? Or is it all simply coincidences and made-up stories? The fact is that no more planes and ships disappear in the Bermuda Triangle than any place else in the globe. As we conclude our expedition into the Bermuda Triangle, one thing remains certain. This enigmatic region will continue to captivate our imagination for generations to come. Join us next time as we delve into more unsolved mysteries and extraordinary tales from around the world. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and until then, keep exploring the unknown.